used in ADR, and the main ones are mediation and arbitration. We also employ negotiation and conciliation as well to try and resolve disputes.
Okay. We will also want you to dilate on the methods of ADRs. What are your methods?
Okay. I'll touch on the most common method, which is mediation. This is ideally both parties will agree that they have a problem that needs to be resolved, and they will approach the secretariat for the secretariat to use mediation, where we call both parties, and we pick out the important issues which are in dispute. For example, if it's an employment contract, the issues of a termination, whether it was a legal termination and the benefits that are meant to be paid to the person who was dismissed, and we agree terms of payment or how much should be paid. And all of these agreements that are reached by the parties, and the mediator only facilitates and guides them, and all these resolutions are all done within the ambits of the laws of the Gambia.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Let's now come to Judith Ngozi, the legal officer at the National Agency for Legal Aid, Gambia. And how is this scheme administered here in Gambia?
Yes, the legal aid provision, in accordance with the Act, we are mandated as an agency to provide services for those who cannot afford a lawyer. So how does this work? For the speakers who have spoken, they talked about the mandate, constitutional mandate. How do we do this, provide the services? Usually it is usually a court-connected matters. It usually happens when a court orders the lawyers or the agency to represent an accused person charged with capital offenses or offenses that carries life imprisonment. For example, the cases of rape, murder, and armed robbery. You find out that in court, these persons who cannot afford a lawyer will first indicate that they have no lawyer. And when they say that, the court will now order the agency to represent them. The court order comes to the agency, and the lawyers just take it up and then start representing them from whatever court that has ordered the agency to represent them up to Supreme Court. We've had cases from High Court to the Supreme Court. And in line with the provision, in line with providing of these services, we also have represented clients and accused persons in the children's courts. What we mean by this is children who are charged with offenses, all offenses, because the Children's Act does not have a limit to the number of persons or the type of offense
that the 2005 Children's Act.
Yes, does not have a limit or a particular kind of offense that the agency will have to represent. We represent children charged with all types of cases, provided they cannot afford a lawyer.
Services of a lawyer.
If they cannot afford the services of a lawyer, the agency takes it up, whether they are charged with capital offenses or not, or offenses that carries life imprisonment. So we have had cases of assault, stealing in the children's court, and legal aid through the help of the lawyers have been representing these children. And we represent these accused persons in all the courts in this country. We have, in line with the provision of the services, we have been representing accused persons in Basse, we have been representing accused persons in Jambure, in Brikama, High Court, Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. So we have been covering all the areas and all the affairs of the country.
Now let's come to the challenges. What are the constraints that you face with in executing your duties?
Yes, we have a lot of constraints. First of all, the agency, in terms of logistics, we just have one vehicle at the agency. This vehicle is used for carrying out all this work. Remember I said the provision of legal aid services. As far as provision of legal aid services is concerned, we have to represent all the accused persons charged with these offences all over the country. Like in Basse, for instance, the High Court and the Children's Court has been set up in Basse, and we are mandated to represent accused persons charged with offences there. And in doing that with our one vehicle, it's been difficult. You can imagine the challenge. And then the agency has just 3 lawyers that has been covering the whole country. So the challenge is enormous, but we thank God that we have been doing that. We have been meeting up to our expectation, but we cannot say that it's easy. It hasn't been an easy task, but we have been providing services to persons who cannot afford.
In a nutshell, you need the services of professional lawyers to add on to what you already have, and logistic.
Yes, we will encourage and appreciate help from other agencies.
Okay. Let's now go back to Mr. Thomas, the administrator of the National Agency for Legal Aid. Mr. Thomas, how is the decentralization of the legal aid in the country? Could you shed light on the decentralization of the legal aid in the country?
Yes, Mama, it's a very good question, decentralization, because it is our challenge at the moment. It's a formidable challenge in the sense that our base, our headquarters is in Banjul, and you know the number of courts in Banjul, the high courts are many, magistrates courts are many, children's court, court of appeal, and Supreme Court. So there is lots on our hands at the moment, even at the Banjul level. And now the mandate, the requirement is to reach out all over the country. That's what the statute says, that's what the law says. And not only that, but that's also what the people say. The people of Basse are saying, for example, we don't have to come all the way to Banjul to have our cases heard. We come to Banjul, who is going to pay our hotel where we stay? You know, if we don't have relatives.
Accommodation,
food and all these things. And then they are all aware of the, how to call it, the procedures of the court, that they can say adjourned till 4 days' time.
Taxi fares.
So they don't go back and they wait for that adjournment and that adjournment. So they are right. We need to go out there and take this access to justice at their doorstep. And so we have followed, and in March this year, thank God we were able to establish our first regional center in Basse. And it was opened in March, sometime in March. And which means we have an office there, a fully operational office, and people are, it's staffed, and we have started work there. And then we are going to follow this with Western Division. Very soon we are on the verge of opening Western Division, and this will be followed by Farapenya. This is what the decentralization is all about.
You also have partners and collaborators who you work with in achieving your goals. Who are these partners?
Our number one partner is, I can say 1 and 2, UNDP, United Nations Development Program, who assist us with the implementation of all our programs. And they help also with getting us operationalized in providing equipment and so on. We can never be able to say enough thank you to them. And of course there is the IHRDA, where Mr. Sow comes from, the Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa, and they've been with legal aid from the very beginning, as he has said in his narration, that all their efforts, the workshops that went towards the act itself in 2008, they have been involved in that as well. These are our collaborators.
Collaborators, It's like time is against us, and we have a lot of things to discuss, but unfortunately we have to wind up this